Alrighty, right, everyone. This is going to be the first part of our Pump Fun Bot course, teaching you how to make your own Pump Fun bot. And for this, we hopefully have you had already taken part of the trading bot course, so you know what an API is and how to work with it. And for Pump Fun, we are basically going to make a bot that will listen to new tokens and snipes them, so to say. And for that, we will have to build a listener. We will start with the log subscribe listener and then later move on with the block subscribe, which makes everything a little bit more difficult. So we start with this one, and then I will explain why we rather go with the block subscribe, which will be more efficient and faster if you want to build a sniper. And otherwise, the log subscribe is going to be quite okay. So, if you don't have an environment yet, then you should install this with uncommenting this line over here, and then make sure that all the prerequisites which are saved in that requirements file are included. And then Ilya and I, well, mostly this was Ilya's work, have set up for you to read through what everything is. So in general, we are going to make a listener that goes to listen to a Solana RPC node and connects to a WebSocket, which if you've been through our API course, you know that this is like a live stream that you can watch and filter. We then use this WebSocket's messages to listen or filter for the specific PumpFun program. And any message that has been added to this, we go and decode, and you will see how this works. All right, so we load in the necessary environments and libraries that you have over here. You should know from before what this is. So this is base 58, base 64, and the base is just base 2, base 10. That's the way that we count numbers, right? So 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. This would be base 2, and we generally in society use base 10. All right, so we have to define constants and event discriminators. And this simply explains to you what this is and why we need those constants. And in general, you can think about it. We are just going to check if this is the correct place to look. All right, so we define the Solana node WebSocket that is API mainnet beta at solana.com. We make sure that we listen to the correct program, which is the PumpFun program, and then we make sure that the bytes match. And we print this just to make sure that everything is all right, and this is okay. All right, this function does actually nothing except make sure that once we get the data, we format it, and whenever we print something from it, we print it in a human readable format. Because you don't want to try to decipher JSON by on the top of your head. All right, so this is how the event structure that we get from our event discriminator, that we get from our listener in the events is going to look like. So we have the discriminator, which makes sure that we can identify whatever this is. We get the token name, the symbol, the URL, the mint, the bonding curve, which is very important for what we're going to check on for the next. Why we, this is the reason why we are going to use the block subscribe if we want to build a sniper. Just because it's faster, and the bonding curve address is not going to be included in the log subscribe. The log will not actually have it. So you have to go and check, which is going to take you 2 or 3 more API requests. Actually, just 2, but this will make everything slower. So the bonding curve basically determines when a token is mature enough to graduate to the general market. And this is determined by the price and the supply. both has to go up. So you have to increase, and the market and liquidity and everything has to be good enough. So we have the price increase, so more tokens are being bought than sold, or the bids are going to get higher, and the order book is going to have enough liquidity in general, and the capital has to go up. Mayhem mode is a new mode that PumpFun has introduced. I went over this in one of the older videos, and you can check this as well. So this is just basically how the tokens have changed on PumpFun. The legacy mode still actually graduates more tokens, as you can see in the data that we have on Wanger. But for our intents and purposes for the spot, this is actually not very important. So this function basically just helps us get out the important fields that we want, and we make sure that we can get them out in a way that we can read it and use it later. So it's basically just formatting, and the formatting you can look up on the main API documentation, and so you know how the strings and everything is formatted for you to actually know how to split everything. And this is what we do over here, and I suggest that you actually go and check how this works. Things like Metaplex and Google this as well. Ilya is quite excited. Maybe he will make a video that explains more the technical details of this. All right. So once we are parsing the data, meaning make it into something that we can use more readily, format and transform the data, then we can process the subscriptions. And this quickly explains what the block subscribe is, which we will need, and the log subscribe. So the log subscribe is lightweight. It's a little bit faster because it doesn't send you all of the data. But overall, if you will test it, it's actually slower most of the time, unless you are right literally next to the node with a very thick fiber optic cable. Technically, they don't have to be thick, but you know what I mean. So because if you want to get the other data that you will need to find the token that you want to snipe, you will have to send more requests because the log does not include them. This is only logs, not a full transaction. Block subscribe, which we'll go over afterwards, will have all of these things. All right, and this basically just explains what this is. And then we process the log, which means we process the data that it sends to us, and we parse it. And parsing, just as I mentioned again, I used to also think parsing what this means, but in general, we just you can see what parsing actually does. We get it, get the fields out, and basically get rid of the nested structure and make it into a structure that we can use in the code that we have. So very similar to how we built on Hyperliquid, we make our WebSocket listener, and the WebSocket is basically just a stream. So you have from before, you know, the REST APIs, you have GET and POST requests, and for a WebSocket, you basically pick up the phone and you hope that the other side also picks up the phone, and then they leave the phone on for you to listen to whatever is on the other side. And that is basically as long as the connection holds, as long as either of you do not hang up the phone, this connection will persist. So you can listen to everything that goes on the other side until you hang up or the other side hangs up. And while you do this, you can you can filter through all of the information that comes from the other side and pick up the important parts. So we subscribe, we send a subscription message so the other person knows who to get on the phone, or where to leave the phone for you to listen to the events that you're interested in. And this is really basically it. We make this function and we add the loop, and this is actually only needed because we are in a Jupyter notebook if you want to run this as a script, you don't actually need this, and you can actually see in the script how we do this. All right, so I mean, this is just extra because we are in the loop, but this is basically what we'll do. So we are sending the subscription message, we connect to the WebSocket, we make sure that they verify us. If they say everything is all right, then we continue to listen to the data and we parse it, which means processing the log notification, which includes the functions above that you saw already. So this is basically it. The functions that we have above only do this, and as you can see, now we get all the new tokens that are being currently launched on PumpFun, and we get the addresses and we have the signatures. So what we can do is we use that and add more details. We can filter by creator, we can check other information, we can randomize it and buy and sell these tokens. But what we are going to do is to make a fast sniping bot. So we will do exactly what we did here, but we're going to use the block subscribe in the next lesson.